Okay, oops. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope this autofocus lens is working fine. Let me back off here. Oh, it's working, good. All right. So today I'm gonna do another video of my Pentax 645. The previous video that I shot, I couldn't really break down the camera because it was loaded, but now it's not. Now it's empty, as you can see. So I'm gonna go through the camera a little bit today with you. So if you want to know or watch this video, stay around because I'm gonna talk about the most common issue with this camera is this grip here. So this is the most common issue with this system. So this issue here, I'm going to talk about this in this video. So stay around. Okay, so let's break down this camera. Since it's not loaded, I'm going to break this down for you. Okay, this is how the camera look. As you can see, this is the big sensor inside. This is a 645 sensor, and let me just get close. Oh, this lens is doing a good job. And this is if you remove the magazine, I think they call it. This is how it looks inside. I don't know if you can see how big the camera is, but I don't know what I can compare it to. But yeah, this is how the camera look. If you put a film back inside, I have a 120 here. I don't want to have a 220 because it's just so expensive to buy one of those. I mean, to buy one of 220 film. So yeah, this is how you load it. Oops, hold on. I always do this wrong. Here we go. Now it's closed, and this is the magnificent, the most amazing glass I have used. I mean, not really, but this is a good glass. I've used a few Mamiya glass which are really good, and this is also really good. I mean, people can get really critical with which glass is sharper, but this just does the job. So this is a 75 2.8. This comes with the camera. Most of the time that you purchase this camera, they deliver the camera with this glass. So sometimes you can buy this camera like this with no grip. That can cost you, let's say, I've seen this camera with no grip costing almost half of the price, like $200, or sometime even $150 if you buy it from Japan. Why? Because the grip is the most annoying piece of the system. So if you lose this grip, or if this does not work, which is the case, which is the main topic of this video, I'm going to share with you how my grip stopped working and how I get it to repair, and how frustrated I was because I traveled to Senegal. I brought this camera. I wanted to shoot some dope pictures in Africa. So I took this camera with me, and for some random strange reason, it just stopped working. I didn't understand why. I started to, to look up the camera to see what was happening. I started reading on internet, and that's when I find out that the issue was coming from here. So most of the time, the problem is from the battery compartment. So I'm gonna open mine, since I want to show you what was the issue with mine. I don't know if you can see it. Come on, autofocus. There we go. I think you can see it. So most of the time This right here, sometimes you have issues. I have read some people say this was broken, this was damaged. My issue was not here. My issue was here. Can you see it? Yes, you can see it. This goddamn lens is good. So I had a problem with this compartment. I didn't even know. And I started spending night reading blogs and forums and tons of websites to know what was the issue. And long story short, I read someone that had the exact issue. So what he talked about was, first of all, to get a lithium battery, which is difficult to get in France. Most of the time people only sell alkaline battery, which are the most common battery, AA, that people use. So I also kind of had to fix it. I had to clean it up inside. I had to take something that looked like alcohol. I cleaned all the pores, and so the issue was still there. It was not working. Why? Because if you can see the contacts of the battery inside, oops, let me just get this. So inside here, up here, the contact was not working anymore. So what I had to do after 2 weeks of not using this camera, I was so frustrated. I was in Africa. I only shot 2 rolls. I wanted to shoot more rolls, but I couldn't. So the issue, finally, I came to understand that the issue was I had to create some sort of connection between the battery and the plastic. So what I did, I glued this part because this was broken when I bought it. I glued this part, and when I glued it, I put an aluminum contact inside, just so I don't want to remove it because I'm afraid it's not going to work. But when you see here, this is flat. Let's just get this in focus. This is flat. This flat area here was the issue. So I had to get something on top of here to have it look like this, so that could work. And once I did it, it did work. But to figure this out, it took me 2 weeks of not using this camera. I was stuck in Senegal trying to understand. After 2 weeks of waking up late at night, trying to figure out what the fuck was happening, I finally did find the issue. So for those that own this camera, if you want to buy this system, please make sure that this piece here is intact. So no issue of breaking, no electronic issue, because the body can look apart. This can come off. The Pentax can be removed. Whatever here can miss, you can always find this piece on eBay for like 50 or 20 bucks. You can always find a good glass. You can always find this. You can always replace all of this. But this, my friend, you cannot find it. Trust me, I've spent 2 weeks every night trying to find this piece. The only one I could find was on B&H, and that was 245 or 295. That is just ridiculous. It doesn't make sense to spend 350 on the whole system and just 250 on this. So please, for those who want to buy this camera, make sure that this grip here is working fine. Please ask the person on eBay or whatever you're buying this camera to send you pictures of the grip. Make sure the contact here is good. Trying to get this in focus. Come on, big man. Yes, here we go. Get the contact here is working. Everything from inside. Ask him to send you photos of this from the back. Make sure there is no funny stuff going on. This is the most important piece in this camera. And also the on and off, because if the on and off inside have an issue, the whole camera cannot operate. So That was long, but that was the most frustrated and the also most annoying thing. I couldn't find anyone to talk about this on eBay, I mean on YouTube. So that's why I'm doing this video, to share with you the issue with the Pentax 645 system, the grip. So moving on, I've also known while reading all this post that you can fire this camera by removing, the only way you can fire the 645, the Pentax 645 original, by testing if it's working, is by removing the film back, the magazine. So when you remove it, then you can fire. But when this was not working, you can have all these informations, you can have the shutter speed display. When you press, it goes off. Whenever you pressed the shutter, the camera will just turn off. So the display here will turn off. But once you fix the issue of the grip, as you can see, it's working fine, the shutter is working fine, and everything is good. Everyone is happy. So please make sure that you have your grip okay before buying this camera. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Don't worry about the outside. Where most of the time you will see this camera have issue here. This skin will come off, but there are so many accounts on eBay where you can buy skins of any camera. So please don't think about the skin. The grip is a big issue. So moving on, let's talk about the quality of the images. As I mentioned on my previous video, I think this camera is good, especially if you have it, the combo of the 105 from the Pentax 647. If you can have it here, I think this camera can beat the Contax 645. This is just my opinion. I know a lot of people will bash me on this, but I think it will. So I'm gonna show you some images that I shot with this on my last trip to Dakar. I brought boxes of film, but because this camera stopped working, I only shot 2 rolls. I don't know if you feel the frustration, if you can understand how sad I was to be in a country like that, a beautiful country like Senegal, and to have your camera stop working. For those who can afford 2 of these, please buy 2. It only costs $350, or if you're really nerd with the way it look, you can pay $400 for these. So always have a spare camera. But mine stopped working after 2 rolls. So here are the rolls. I'm going to show you some of my favorite images, and we're going to get back after and let me know what you think. Let me just get a little bit of depth of field close here. So I hope that I covered everything about this camera here. I'm gonna be making more videos about this Pentax 645. I feel like on YouTube you don't have that many users owning this camera. I mean, making videos, because I think a lot of people own this camera, but just many people don't make videos about this camera. That's why I feel like I'm gonna be the person sharing with you my work using this camera, and I'm also gonna talk to you about why I sold my 6x7 systems. As I told you, I used to own the RB and the RZ. I also sold my 6x6 cameras. Even though the 6x6, I think gives you, I think 12 images, if I'm not, I think, yeah, it gives you 12 images. To me, this is the best for the money, and also with what you get. I know the electronic side is a little bit frustrated, especially with what happened to me in the car. My camera just stops working. This is one of the reasons why I regret selling my Mamiya RB, because you can trust the camera. The Mamiya RB is a camera that you can trust. Is a camera that you know is not going to let you down unless you really do something to it. And whereas I feel like this camera has a lot of things that you need to take in consideration. You know, you can't just throw this camera in the bag. You need to really be careful with, as I said, the battery grip, because this is something that you cannot replace. With the Mamiya RB, you can replace everything. There is no a piece of a Mamiya RB that you cannot get. So on my next video, I'm going to talk about why I prefer this camera over the Mamiya RB, and maybe I'm going to get the Mamiya RB just to have two cameras with me, even though I think the 645 will still be my favorite, especially for someone who's shooting portrait all the time like me. This is just an amazing camera, and the lens is also good. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you know what to do. It's always good to have your support. It's always good to have your feedback. So I'm going to post this video on this channel, but I'm also going to post this video on my new film channel. So if you want to see my film journey, as I'm going to talk about this camera right here too, I'm also going to talk about my 35 cameras. I'm going to talk about my 35mm camera. I'm also going to share with you some techniques, and I will try to do some backstage videos as I do my shot. It's so hard to get someone to film for you, especially these days. People are so busy, but I will do my best to have some backstage, because so many people ask me to see the way I shoot. I think it's such an interesting process when I do my photo shoot, so I will try to do my best to have someone to film it next time. So I'm gonna leave you here, and see you on Instagram. My Instagram is Kristen and Film. There I post 95% of my film work. I post some digital travel work sometime, but most of my work on the Instagram will be film. So see you around, and if you have any question, any suggestion, anything that I didn't talk about while talking about this camera with you, please, it's always good to have your feedback, to have some new people feedback, opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you here, and thank you again for watching this video. Ciao.